I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be wondering when Spacetime Smackdown drops, which cards are in the Palkia pack and which cards are in the Dialga pack. So we're going to go over that today so that you have a guide to which pack you should be opening. Make sure you drop a subscription for your boy, trying to hit 1K. If y'all can help me out with that, I will help you guys out with not wasting your pack openings in Spacetime Smackdown. We will mostly go over the main cards, like the most important or what I feel to be the most impactful cards in detail, but we will go over the whole list. And so we're going to start with the Dialga pack. We've got the Oddish line with Blossom. I don't think this is going to be an extremely impactful card. Kind of feeling the same way about Tangrowth, but it's in the Dialga pack. Blossom is in both. Yanmega EX, going to be the first EX that we cover. It's a Dialga exclusive. Got 140 HP and 120 damage on a stage 1 Pokemon. It's really not that bad, but you do have to discard a random energy from this Pokemon. So the double-edged sword to this card is you can't build up your bench while attacking with this very effectively. Roselia line is going to be in both packs. Burmy and Wormadam are in both packs. Vespiquen is Dialga only. I don't know if that's going to be the most impactful card though. The Leafy Cyclone Leafeon that I showed you guys in my previous video is Dialga only. It can hit for 90 and not, I mean, I think this card is actually pretty good. Its downside is workable. I don't know about impactful, but it's okay. Mo Rotom I think is a pretty interesting card. I like anything in this game that has the potential to remove energy from your opponent's Pokemon, and it's available in both packs. Shaman is like a basic Butterfree, and it's Dialga only. Its ability says once during your turn you may heal 10 damage from each of your Pokemon. Slugmaline is both packs. Rotom Heat is in both packs. Mamoswine's line is in Dialga only, and Piloswine has a 20 damage version of this ability, so stay with me. Mamoswine's ability says Thick Fat. This Pokemon takes minus 30 damage from attacks from fire or water Pokemon, which means that Piloswine would take 20 damage less. It also has a Thick Fat ability. Weasel Floatzel is in both packs. Finneon Lumineon is in both packs. Snover Abomasnow is in both packs. I think it's probably safe to say, I think that all of the Rotoms are in both packs, but I think that the Mo Rotom is the only one who I would really make note of as like a possibly impactful card. Magnezone is in both packs. Doing 110 from the Thunder Blast, discard a lightning energy from this Pokemon. Voltorb Electrode in both packs, but Electrode with a retreat cost. Electivire and Electabuzz are in Dialga only. Exciting Voltage is going to work well with this version of Electabuzz, which can use Charge to ramp up energy. The Luxray line is Dialga only, and this card's very interesting. It's a Stage 2 Ultimate Bench Sniper. Discard all electric energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Very potent, but very costly effect. Maybe this card will see some significant play. Of course, all the EX Pokemon are going to be in one pack or the other. Pachirisu EX for 2 lightning energy can do 40, 80 if you have a Pokemon tool. For an EX, this Pokemon really ain't worth the 2 prize cost, but as I said in my first Spacetime Smackdown video, I could see a tiny electric mouse rushdown deck being possible. Togekiss line is cards that we already covered, but they're going to be in both sets. Routes and Curlia are Dialga only. Dusknoir line is Dialga only. As often as you like during your turn, you may choose one of your Pokemon that has damage on it and move all of its damage to this Pokemon. So that's very similar to like the Curse Body Gengar way back in the early TCG days. And that card was extremely impactful in its time. So even though this is a Stage 2 Pokemon, I could see this getting some play. Drifblim, probably not so impactful, but it is Dialga only. The Lake Twins, I mean, there's a deck to be built here around the Lake Twins, but I'm not going to go too much into it right now because I feel like they're very niche. They are all in the Dialga pack if you want to be the person that innovates that deck. Gligar and Gliscor Dialga only. Hitmontop is a pretty bad card, doing 50 damage for 2 energy when so many fighting Pokemon can do it for 1. But it's a Dialga only. Nosepass is both. Regirock is both. It basically has a thick fat ability as well. It takes minus 20 damage from attacks. Oh, so that's from any Pokemon. So that's pretty good. That's more like Melmetal than like Mamoswine. Rampardos is gonna be Dialga only. This can do 130 for 1 energy, so I do think that this card is actually quite good. It's a stage 2. It's a bit niche, but this card's really good, actually. This card's worth it. Riolu Lucario is Dialga only. We talked about in a previous video how I think that this fighting coach ability, attacks used by your fighting Pokemon do plus 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. That's going to be huge. Definitely a card that's going to see play. Gallade EX is a Pokemon. This Dialga only. Definitely going to see some play. Energized Blade for 2 fighting energy. This attack does 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's like they gave you almost all the damage from Pidgeot for 1 less energy, and they barely shaped the damage down. Murkrow and Honchkrow, Dialga only. Poochyena, Mightyena is both. Drapion is both. Skuntank is Dialga only. Toxicroak, Dialga only. Darkrai EX, Dialga only. This card's probably my favorite card in the set. This or Weavile. I love the dark type Pokemon that they came out within the set. Nightmare Aura. Whenever you attach a dark energy from your energy zone to this Pokemon, do 20 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that's whether Darkrai is on the bench or in the active slot. Whatever Pokemon your opponent has in the active slot is going to take 20 every time you put an energy on it. Pretty sick. Skarmory is both. Registeel is Dialga. Hanzong line is Dialga only. Obviously Dialga EX is Dialga only. Heatran's pretty nice little steel type tank that you can find in Dialga only. Apom line is in both packs. Apom line is in both packs, but the Bidoof line is Dialga only, and the Baniri line is Dialga only. It appears all the Regis in the set are in both packs. And then for really kind of the most important part, because you see, if you're still tuned into the video, I think that this is the most important aspect to collecting a new set. If you don't have the resources to just open and open until you get every single card, I would focus on getting your trainer cards, 2 copies of all of them first. And this is the trainer cards that you'll find in the Dialga set. You got Pokemon Communication, Giant Cape, Team Galactic Grunt, Volkner, and Dawn. Dawn's going to allow you to move an energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. Volkner is choose one of your Electivire or Luxray, attach 2 energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon. Team Galactic Grunt, put 1 random Glameow, Stunky, or Croagunk from your deck into your hand. Giant Cape is a Pokemon tool that gives the attached Pokemon 20 HP, 20 additional HP. And Pokemon Communication allows you to shuffle one of the Pokemon cards that are in your hand into your deck in exchange for a different random Pokemon card. So that's pretty sick. I think that's definitely going to be the most used staple for every deck out of this set. So really, to make a long story short, we went through the whole Dialga pack, but you want to open Dialga first if you're looking for these trainer cards right here, as I just listed them all off. And then if you're looking for Yanmega EX, Pachirisu EX, Gallade EX, Darkrai EX, or Dialga EX. Now for the Palkia cards, once again we got the Blossom evolution line, we got the Roselia evolution line. Dialga has Torterra, Frenzy Plant, 150, but you can only use it every other turn. Kind of maybe a little too bulky and costly of a card. Kricketune, Palkia only. Carnivine is in Palkia. Magmar and Magmortar. Magmortar for 4 fire energy is going to do 100 damage and burn your opponent's active Pokemon. So burn is a new mechanic coming to the game. And Fernape EX for 2 fire energy. Discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. It's going to hit you for 140. I don't think this card is better than Charizard, but we'll see how much play, because it does add a speed element It doesn't involve much setup as Charizard, but you can't load it up for multiple hits like Charizard. Okay, so Regice is in Palkia only. Registeel is in Dialga only. Got you. That makes all the sense in the world. And Crystal Body doesn't lower the damage, it prevents the effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Empoleon is in Palkia only. Aqua Jet does 80 and 30 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Pretty good attack. Just happens to be on a stage 2 though. Floatzel is in both. Gastrodon is in Palkia only. Lumineon and Snover is in both. Glaceon is in Palkia only, as Dialga has Leafeon. This is a 2 energy paralyzing attack, so it's pretty good. The Rotoms are in both. Palkia EX, I think we've all seen by now. I don't think this card is going to be very good because of the discard 3 water energy from this Pokemon, but it's got a 150 damage attack that also does 20 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's got potential, but I just don't think there's enough ramp for this. Although if there is enough ramp, it would come in the form of Manaphy. So we'll go ahead and talk about it. It's in Palkia only. Oceanic Gift. For 1 energy, you can use Oceanic Gift. Choose 2 of your benched Pokemon. For each of those Pokemon, take a water energy from your energy zone and attach it to that Pokemon. But I just don't think it's enough ramp still. I mean, you got Misty and that. I don't know. We talked about Magnezone. We talked about Electrode. We talked about Togekiss. Here is Miss Magius EX. On a stage 1, it's got Magical Delusion for 70. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. The guaranteed confuse is pretty nice, although your opponent, when you're confused, flip a coin whenever you want to retreat or attack, and if tails, you take 20 damage. The guaranteed confuse is nice, but it's still never guaranteed to actually do anything when you're confused. Still, it's like to par power level for an EX Pokemon. It's certainly to par. So we got the Lake Trio in both. Giratina and Cresselia are in Palkia. Giratina's ability Levitate says if this Pokemon has any energy attached, it has no retreat cost. That's definitely an interesting card to see some people build some decks around, possibly. Rhyperior is going to be in Palkia only. Allows you to mill off the top 3 cards of your own deck, but like that, this could go in a deck with Garchomp, which already allows you to cut through your deck, and then you won't even have a deck to discard from. It won't matter, and an attack will still work. We have Hippowdon in Palkia, and we have Weavile in Palkia. Weavile EX. I already talked about in my last video how this Pokemon plus Giovanni 2-hit KOs Mewtwo for 1 energy, 140 HP, and on a stage 1, I think this is a really, really good card. We've talked about Poochyena, and we've talked about Skorupi line. Spiritomb, probably not great, but maybe could see play. Swirling Disaster does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. We've seen Skarmory, which does 50 damage if you have a tool. Bastiodon has an ability Guarded Grill, which flip a coin. If heads, this Pokemon takes minus 100 damage from an attack. Pretty sick. We talked about this card and its ability to allow you to discard a card, then draw a card, both in the last video and already. But if you want the Garchomp line, is going to be in the Palkia set. We also have Licky Licky EX in the Palkia set. Yes, you people heard me right. Licky Licky EX. Licking Fury does 100 damage plus flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 40 more damage for each heads. It's really not great, honestly, but it's a hilarious card. I'm happy that it exists. The Porygon line. If you're interested in the Buggy Beam, the Porygon line is in Palkia. We talked about Ambipom and Apom. We got Staraptor in Palkia. Glameow and Purugly in Palkia. Chatot in Palkia. But let's get to the trainers here, because as I said, I think this is the first thing that you want to be collecting, especially if your resources are limited. And so in the Palkia packs, you'll find Rocky Helmet, Lumberry, Cirrus, Cynthia, and Mars. So For Mars, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a card for each of the remaining points needed to win. Try to make red card good. Cynthia, we've already covered on the channel, but during this turn, attacks used by your Garchomp or Togekiss do plus 50 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Cyrus, possibly the best card in the set. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has damage on it to the active slot. I mean, I really don't know how else to say it. Possibly the best card in the set. Lumberry. At the end of each turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is affected by any special conditions, it recovers from all of them and discard this card. So, simulating a Lumberry. But probably, I mean, right up there with Cyrus, one of the best cards in this entire set is the Rocky Helmet. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, do 20 damage to the attacking Pokemon. So they worded that very carefully in order to make it so even bench sniper Pokemon that can attack the active slot, if this card is attached Pokemon in your active slot and that Pokemon is damaged by an attack, then you get the damage off. More uses than the rough skin ability on Darudagon. But of course you could attach this to a Darudagon as well as any other Pokemon making it a Darudagon, and this is right there with Cyrus, one of the best cards in the game. So once again, in the Palkia packs, these are the 5 trainers that you can get. I think the trainer collection is probably better in the Palkia packs, but depending on which EX Pokemon you're pulling for, the Palkia packs are going to have Infernape EX, Palkia EX, Magius EX, Weavile EX, and Licky Licky EX. So I hope this video helped you guys, and make sure y'all subscribe. Come join me on the live stream. Come join me on the live streams, and we'll play some Pokemon TCG Pocket and some other games together. And until then, peace.